Welcome, Pam Totaro, to
Oh,
Kevjet, the podcast.
thank you for inviting me.
I'm
I'm
very
so
excited.
excited. I
I'm
am.
so excited to have this conversation. You are a multi-dimensional healer and a paranormal medium.
Yes, yes, I am.
Explain to me and my listeners what that means.
So, what that means is I am an energy healer with not only years of experience with helping people with their traumas, childhood traumas. I've had my own childhood traumas that I had to work through. So, energy healing, I always say it's not instead of a regular therapy or any type of medical help. It's an addition to it. So sometimes we go through, not sometimes, oftentimes, if we have childhood trauma, post traumatic stress, just wounding, we all have wounding. There's no way to get out of your childhood unscathed. That's just not why we're here. We're here to do that. But sometimes you need a little extra help moving through it and understanding what happened, disconnecting from it. So in multidimensional means that I not only work with your physical body, which we call the deva, I work with your energetic body as well and help dissolve those patterns, those ties, those that adopted thinking, that sort of thing that we have that keeps us stuck in our trauma and living out our trauma in real time. So that's what that is. And then the paranormal medium is for over 25 years. I've worked with the paranormal. We, when I say we, I have a partner in this, not my husband, but my best friend. And she and I clear people's homes for them. A lot of people have activity in their home. How would I say this nicely? So, ghost hunting has done two things. One is it's brought the paranormal to the masses. Like more and more people believe in it, which is fabulous. But what it's also done is bring it to the masses and the wrong information. People start out loving living in a haunted house and they think it's fascinating and this is great. And over time, they don't realize that they become ill. They become emotional. I mean, the sicknesses that we've seen living with the paranormal is mind blowing. They drop out of life. It becomes such a codependent relationship that they think they're in relationship with these ghosts or what we call earthbound spirits or things that have never been human. We get those as well. So we go in and we try to educate people on what a ghost really is, why they're here, what's happening to you, and it's not your fault. Clear it away and allow them to live without, sort of in their authentic self or who they want to be, really live life because people do just drop out. So that's what I do. That's what we do.
I have so many
I said
questions.
it all. Okay. Go ahead, hit me.
Well, anyone who's been to my house will know that I have a ghost that I call Frederick.
Okay.
But I think of him as a good ghost.
Okay. We can talk about that.
Yeah. So first of all, my first question to you is, what is your description of a ghost?
So a ghost is someone who had a physical body, had what lived in this deva at the time that the body died, because the soul never dies. They made the choice. It is a choice to stay earthbound or to cross over. And it's really very rare that they stay, but considering how many people around the world die every day, there are a lot of ghosts out there. And you make the choice to stay. And what happens most of the time, most of the ghosts that we come in contact with, they made that choice out of fear. They were so scared of the judgment that was going to happen. They were scared. They didn't know where they were going or what was going to happen. And that split second choice keeps them here. So they live in the realm of fear. We believe, pardon me, we believe that there are really two main realms. There's love and there's fear. And everything that goes in, all the emotions that go within those two categories. When you're an earthbound spirit, it's all fear. All those things that so in life, in this body, with this brain, with the emotions that we have, we're able to lean into love, into compassion, into kindness, and laughter, and joy, and all of those things. When we're stuck in that realm, we don't get to experience any of that anymore. And we only experience sadness, depression, anger. If you were, and if whatever those were in the last life you lived, which would be in this body, if you had traumas that you didn't heal, you sit in those traumas every day and you work from that place. And so it's a very sad place to be. So that's what a ghost is. And they need human interaction to feed on, to keep them here, to keep that energy flowing. So someone like you who has a spirit in their home, you're keeping that person there, and you've made a connection with them. We call, well, I don't know. I haven't looked in there. I haven't been there, so I don't know if you have what we would call a real attachment, but an attachment is that emotional connection, very codependent, like a very codependent relationship would be.
So I wouldn't say that. No. So
No.
it's literally just you hear footsteps in the guest room, and
Yes.
yeah, no, like we've never seen him, nothing like that. But like the bathroom door will open and things like that. It's just
Okay.
always on the landing upstairs. Yeah.
Yes. And there are some like that which are not, they're not threatening. You could probably live with Frederick, right?
Yeah, I call him Frederick.
For
I don't, and
years.
only because a friend of mine who is a medium came over one time, and she went upstairs, and when she came back downstairs, she said, "You know, there's a man upstairs."
Oh, really? Yes. So
Yeah.
the way we see it is he's just surviving. So what we would do is we would go in and we would cross him over so he could be in the higher realms. He could go through his life review. He could essentially live again. He could be in that high vibration of love and compassion and joy and really find that which he's not finding here. However, he is working out some sort of whatever he wants to work out while he's here. So
one tip she gave me, and this is a great question for you, actually. She said to me that I should stop burning candles for a while because that's what was attracting him. Is that something that you would recommend to people? Is that something that you would?
personally, no.
Okay.
But that is a thought out there.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's really your energy that attracts them. Whoever's energy was in the house could have been there right prior to you getting
Of
there.
course.
So there was some reason that they're attracted to the people, not the things.
And we just renovated the house with an extension and modernized it, and that just sent him crazy.
Yes. I'm sure he was pissed.
And
like,
people
what
don't
just happened
really
to my house.
And people don't believe you when you tell them these things, and they're like, "You're crazy. Like there's too much dust in the air in your house or something."
Yeah. No, they get pissed with renovations. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was a thing.
Yes. Yeah. So candles, if I always say if something like that, like a candle, if that makes you feel good, if that brings you joy, then do it. It's not affecting them whatsoever.
Okay, yeah, I love candles. I have candles burning every evening, so I was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I really hated it. But for a while, I went a week without lighting a candle, and I was like,
Good.
maybe it will just make him calm.
Sure.
And yeah,
And
but
that's an honest belief system out there. There are people that believe that. So I would never tell your friend that she's crazy or something. It's a belief that that's just not mine.
yeah,
On that
sure.
one. Yeah.
So a paranormal medium,
Yeah.
is there a difference between a medium that you would see on TV who delivers messages to loved ones?
Yes. Yes. So there's when I started as a medium, as a child, things would come, etc. They were all what we called healed spirits. Those are those ones, grandma and grandpa who've crossed over and they come
Sure.
back to give you messages. A paranormal medium is, I work with primarily the paranormal, earthbound spirits, earth spirits, entities that have never been human, that sort of thing. So that's my realm. I do, if I'm in a healing with someone and they have a loved one come through, I will give them those messages at that time, but it's not something I really do anymore. Not that you asked me, did you? You just asked the difference. So that's
Yeah.
the difference. That's the difference. I work
Sure.
mostly with the scary, spooky stuff.
Yeah, that was my next question was if you're paying attention to the ghost or stories on television, it would be the scary bad ghosts, if that's what you want to call them. You call them earth spirits. Is that the proper name?
Earthbound.
Earthbound. And so that would refer to the spirits that are stuck here, and
Yes.
you're helping them
Yes.
move on.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. And
I've got
most of
that.
them don't really know that they're stuck. They don't realize that they have a choice to leave. And that's where the medium comes in. I come in and we have those conversations of, this is not living. What you're doing right now, you're just existing in the realm of fear. It's time to go home. It's time to get healed. It's time to reunite with love, because they don't have loved ones here. They don't have anything in that when they're earthbound. So it's doing that, sending them over, helping them. I have teams. I have specialized teams in spirit who come and help with everything. I am truly just the conduit standing there, especially with the real low vibrational beings, the entities. Some people call them demons. We don't tend to call them that, but those type of entities that are really wreaking havoc, and they are mean, they are vicious, they are hurting people, they're trying to kill you, they're trying to take over your mental health, all of that. I have specialized teams in spirit that help with those ones as well, and they get taken away. We don't just send them out of the house. When you just send them out of the house, they're going to go to your neighbor's house, or they're going to go somewhere else and torture someone. So we always make sure that they leave with someone, or they're taking them somewhere. I just call it spirit jail. I don't know really what it is, but those lower vibrational ones, they're kept away from people.
And is it a thing? I already love this conversation.
Oh, good. Me too.
Is it a thing? Because I watch a lot of paranormal reality
I
TV, which
mean,
is probably not reality,
oh, it's
but
so fun. Oh, it's entertaining. It's fun. No, it's fun.
so if you've had a traumatic death or a sudden death, that
Mhm.
your soul doesn't cross over.
No, it can happen. Yes, certainly it can happen. But no, no.
And the other question is around suicide.
hmm That's a good one.
Yeah, so I know that's what a lot of people, it's something that when people talk about it, it's sort
Mhm.
of looked down on and shunned, and people don't want to say the word. They almost whisper the word.
Yeah.
But again, because they think that person never moves on. Is that a myth?
That's the same thing as traumatic death. It's still an option. You still have a choice to stay or to go. We get this question asked a lot. We've also come across many families who have an earthbound in their home, and they think that it's their child who committed suicide or someone there. And we tell them that this is another spirit just pretending to be, which is really horrible. But ghosts will tell you whatever they can to get you to want them to stay. We always say ghosts are liars. They lie, they lie, they lie. Someone who commits suicide is taken right, almost always. There are cases where they choose to stay, but usually there's some mental illness there. there was some reason that they felt that they just couldn't stay in this lifetime anymore. They are met with such compassion and such love, and they are ushered over into the higher realms to receive the healing and the love that they need. One thing they do have, you have to come back in and pretty much do the same life over again to do it differently. That's the thing. But no, so anyone out there listening who has had someone commit suicide in their life, first of all, I am so sorry. That I can't even imagine the pain that's in that. Know that they were crossed over. They did go to what we might call heaven. We call the higher realms, and they are being watched after. So that is no. I think that's another thing that the paranormal world has sort of brought that belief system sort of, and people just believe it.
I think it's also a religious thing, isn't it? Sort of,
Oh, yay, yes.
yeah. So like in being brought up Catholic, that's they were
I
like,
was going to say Catholic,
yeah, yeah,
Catholicism. Mhm.
it's always the worst.
Yes, isn't that, don't they call that purgatory or something?
Yeah,
Go to purgatory, right?
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. That's my next question. Are you religious at all?
No. Um, no. No, I'm very, very spiritual. This is my spirituality. This my belief system. I will say that I have two sons. One of them is Catholic and one is Muslim. So we have this big variety. My husband is, he never goes to church. We never go to church, but if he had to choose, he would say he's Christian,
Okay.
if we could say it that way. Um, so I am very much in favor of everyone finding what works for you. Just finding that higher power, that belief that this is not all there is, for me is so comforting. And I will say, my son who's Catholic doesn't believe everything. I mean, he was raised with me. Like, how can you, so there are those things, but find what works for you, what you believe in, because it makes living here so much easier to know that there's more out there than just, there is a purpose for us being here.
Do you
So
find that your clients who are very religious, that you sort of hit a wall and it's difficult to help them understand what they're dealing with or how to fix these issues?
yes, I have had several in my career who were very, very, very religious. A couple of them, I don't even know why they came to me. Like, what I do here, what this is about. They were just in so much pain, just looking for some sort of answer, something to make them feel better. Most of them will sort of shift a little bit and say, okay, this is making me feel better. That kind of makes sense what she's saying. So I'm going to sort of incorporate that into what I do, but I'm not leaving the church. I have had more people, however, who have had uh, religious trauma from childhood. I get many more of those that are
Mm-hmm.
just looking for an answer, and also to heal that trauma, because it can be very traumatizing when you have a parent who uses it as a weapon against you.
Of
That happens
course.
a lot, unfortunately, which is very sad. Very sad.
Is being possessed a real thing?
Yes. Mhm. Very rare. Very, 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 very rare. But yes. Yes, it is. And I have worked with 3 possessed people. One of them I'm not sure of. It was very sort of, I was starting my career. I was with I'm not sure if that person was possessed or just what we call being jumped. But the other 2, yes, were absolutely possessed. And it is a real thing. It is a real thing. It's typically people who are very depressed, who are looking for something, and you invite them in. You have to invite in an entity to take over. Yes,
Sure. And does it look the same way as you see it on the films?
it can. Sure. They can also look very normal and very, I had so the last one I was involved in, my mentor is an older gentleman. Oh my gosh, the most powerful person I've ever met, but he works at a gem, like a crystal store. And he had this young man walk in one day and say, I think there's something wrong with me. And so they sort of had this conversation. And my mentor, his name is Rod, he was like, something big is going on here. He got on the phone, he called me. As soon as he called me, the guy freaked out. Now, my mentor, of course, he's an older gentleman, but he's still a big dude. Like he's a big size guy, not easily pushed around. And this guy was just flinging him around. Yeah, yeah. So yes, all that strength, the words that come out of their mouth, the things that they say to you, the knowing your childhood, the voices that they come up with. We just did actually a video recently. We just did a clearing recently where there was a very low vibrational being in the home who was working on trying to eventually possess the homeowner. Both of my parents are passed away. He was speaking to me in my dad's voice and my mother's voice. He was saying horrible things to me. He was bringing up childhood stuff. Thankfully, I've done so much healing, because otherwise I would have been totally traumatized by it. So yes, they're very powerful. They know a lot. They will do whatever they can do to dupe you, to get you to believe in them so they can hurt you. They can take over your body. Yes, it does happen. And I don't mean to scare anyone who's listening. It is still very rare. It's really very rare, but it does happen.
So in the films, when it happens, you have to have the Catholic priest comes in. It's very a religious thing.
Yes.
So in this instance, it wouldn't be a religious thing, or is it?
No, no, no.
So what is the process?
I have I have a specialized team. I just call them my guardians. They work with Archangel Michael, if you're familiar with him. They're like his army. This is the team that I am so honored to have the privilege of working with. They do all the work. They come in, they separate the entity from the human, and they take them away. I know that sounds very simplistic, and it's not quite that simplistic, but that's basically what happens. Part of why I chose, and it is a choice. We all choose our lifetimes and what we're going to do here. I've done this for many lifetimes, but in this lifetime, I chose to work with that type of entity that are really dangerous. So I am built for that, I guess you would say, through my energy healing, and that's not just run of the mill energy healing. Please, no one think they can go out and do that. It's years of building that up, of getting stronger, of learning more. I have very powerful energy in those situations because I need it. So those entities can't penetrate that unless I allow them to. But I've learned how to really hold that ground and not allow that to happen, and let my teams do what they need to do. And then the person, after they've been separated, the person, the human, needs healing. We go through and release all the bonds, that entity's energy, so they can't come back in, because that is another thing. They can jump out and come back. I mean, that's what they do. And they do that by leaving their energy within you, and they're able to do that. So we have to go through that, and it's really getting that person cleaned up.
Sure.
And, yeah.
How old were you when you realized you had this gift?
I was in my 30s.
So it wasn't something that happened when you were 8 years old and
Nope.
wow.
Nope. I know.
I
People
love
ask
that.
that. And yes, I believe I had such a traumatizing childhood on its own, just being human, being in The family that I was in, I don't think I could have handled anything more. My life just being human was frightening. It was a scary existence. So I believe I needed to go through that, like we all do. We all, whatever your traumas are as a child, you end up in adulthood then being a teacher of it. If you heal them, if you heal all that, then you can help others with that. And that's what I've been able to do. So nope, I did not have, I had a few like little ghost encounter kind of things, but no, I always knew I was psychic. That was, so my main guy name is Fred. So when you said Frederick, I just kind of giggled.
That's actually a question I have is which we'll get to about Fred.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I've always had Fred. I always knew I was psychic. I always knew that was a thing without realizing that not everyone really had that. It never occurred to me to really talk to people about it or anything. There were a couple times, like with my family, I went to say something and it was kind of like, no, you're going to be made fun of or whatever. So just, so I just kept it quiet. So no, I did not know I was the paranormal medium that I am until my 30s.
I'm going to skip around notes. I said to you
Sure,
earlier, I
please
have
do.
notes, but they usually just. So I'm just going to ask. I'm going to ask you, who is Fred? Tell me about Fred.
Ah, Fred is my main guide. He is an ascended master. So that is someone who had ascended masters are those who had a big role in humanity, I guess you could say. He and I, so before we come into life, we choose who our guides are going to be. We choose our families. We choose all of that. I chose him. He's very kind and compassionate. He would hold through traumas in my life as a child. He was always there for me. He would always hold me and tell me everything's going to be, and I want to cry now. Everything's going to be okay. There is a reason for all of this. You can do this. You're strong enough, whatever, all those conversations. I also have Archangel Michael has been with me from the very beginning. And if any of you know him, he is one badass. And also they're not just my guides. They are guides for many. Guides come down with many people to guide, many, many. So Archangel Michael always made me feel safe, that I always, as frightening as my house was, as frightening as the things that were going on in there and the traumas, fear is a real thing for me. And that's really something that I had to work on a lot. Yet on some level, I always knew I was going to be safe because Michael always told me I was safe and it was going to be okay. And of course, I still work with Fred and Michael still. And yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But it brings me to my next question. And
Sure.
what is your description of an angel?
Mm. So humans do not, in my belief, humans do not become angels. I know there are stories of two archangels, right? That, like in the Bible, say that they were human and is it Metatron and Sandalphron or something? I sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. I have no reason not to believe that, but in general, they are their own species. They are all light. They are messengers of God, or this higher being that we all get to share in. They help us connect to our spiritual self, to our soul, to bring us joy and happiness. Some watch over it. They're different. They're like, they're our guardian angels. So there are different sort of levels or beings. I love angels. They are beautiful, amazing creatures. I don't know what you'd call them. And they're just energy like the rest of us. But they you can see their wings and they're beautiful. So yeah, they're messengers. I do believe that they are messengers. They are here to help us. They come in times of need when we really need them. They have a different language than we have, so it's all really feeling. When you come in contact with an angel, it's more you feel them. You can't understand them. It's more of a so when you see it, like you hear like angels singing, that's real, and that's how they communicate. That's their real voices.
I
But
love
they've never been.
angels. I love
I
angels.
know. Aren't they amazing?
I,
Ah,
I have a great friend in Canada who draws angels on lots of she just does artwork on lots of her work. And for my 40th, she drew me an angel. So I had my first tattoo was an angel tattoo.
wait, put
But
that back up there.
I'll send you a
Oh wait,
photo of,
oh, that's beautiful. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
and they're always women that she draws. Yeah. And I also, strangely enough, they always have a heart. And when I turned 40, which is the whole reason I had this tattoo, I had to have heart surgery. So it's bizarre.
Oh,
And this angel was with me throughout the whole
oh,
thing.
she
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's beautiful.
So she's always
Yeah,
with me. Yeah. And
absolutely. And not just on your arm, but with you.
no.
Yeah.
And my friend she sent me about, I don't know, she drew something like 8 or 9 of them. And then I chose the one I liked. And she said, I knew right away that was the one I knew you were going to choose
Of
her.
course she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's very connected to angels. Oh my goodness. What a gift.
Love it.
Yes. I'd like to tell you just a
Sure.
quick little story. We had this gentleman reach out to us. It's probably about a year ago. He's an older gentleman, lives by himself. He bought this farm that he's always wanted in Arizona. And things just kept going. It just wasn't going well. He had this weird heart murmur that he'd never had before. The doctors couldn't figure it out. He started getting really sluggish, like really sick. He thought he had some ghost in his home, so he reached out to us. So we came in, he did, and there were 2 of them. We cleared them. We cleared his land. My drum back here. We drummed. We helped heal the earth, etc. 2 days after our clearing, he went to the doctor. Clean bill of health. The doctor was stunned. Like, why? What happened? Like, what did you do? Did something, like, he was just shocked. The woman, if I remember correctly, it was the woman that was in the house was causing him trouble with his heart.
Wow.
So it can happen. It can happen. Sure.
What happens when you die?
Mhm. We 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 leave our body. People come first. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. When we get to that point of we're going to leave our bodies. Now, sometimes if you have an illness, this happens sooner. But you have family and your angels and your guides, and everyone comes around supporting you and loving you and sort of taking you there. They sort of usher you out of your body to make sure that you feel safe and loved. That's a choice. You can push them away, as we know some people do. And I'm going to take this back to when you said like if there's an accident, it sort of happens really fast and whatever, you don't have. So in that situation, you haven't had people around you for a long time to really sort of ease into it. And that's why it sort of snap and you don't know what's going on. And yes, those people can get stuck. You actually so all the realms are right here around us. They're just in a different vibration. So you are taken out into another realm. It's not the earthbound realm. It's another one that's higher than that, and it's loving and kind. You have about a week or so watching your family members, watching your body, going to your funeral, sort of adjusting to the fact that you've just died. Your David just died. Then you go over, you go through, and I've heard this I think it depends on your life, how much you've healed, what you need, depends on in which order this goes in. You have a life review where you sit down and you watch every second of the life you just had so you can see everything you've learned, you didn't learn, the times that you've done really well, times when you didn't, when you treated people poorly, you go through all of that. And then there's a big healing, like you're just swaddled in this amazing energy to rid yourself sort of this lifetime, that lower vibrational energy, all of that. And then, and it's clarity. So then you come out and you're like, ah, crap. I didn't get that figured out in this lifetime, or I did this or that. When we hurt people, when another person hurts from our words or whatever it is, we are the ones that have to deal with ourselves at that point. In that high vibration of love and compassion, we get hit tenfold with the fact that we just, I mean, the guilt, the shame, it is overwhelming from what I understand, because we hurt another human being and we did not ask for forgiveness, or we did not apologize. None of that happened. So basically that's what happens. And we learn, that's the guilt we take with us when we hurt someone, we didn't do what we were meant to do, we have guilt over that. That's very often why we have loved ones come and try to talk to us. They want to settle that. They want to heal from that. They want you to heal from that. They want to apologize. I'm sorry is probably the first words that most of the time you're going to hear if you go to a medium to talk to someone from the other side. They want to apologize and they want to heal that. They want to bring you clarity, and they want to heal too. They want to get your forgiveness if it's possible and work through all of that.
The loved ones coming in with my patients as they were dying, and that happens to every single person I've ever been with. And it's always been,
That just warms my heart.
yeah, so it's the thing. And we all know, like in healthcare, it's it's close to their time when that starts to happen. They can be having the most normal conversation with you and just all of a sudden look over your shoulder and say, oh wow, like my mom is here, or my sister, or they always name the person because it's real to them. It's
Yes,
happening.
absolutely.
And so I would always say to the nursing students that I would have with me, because they would be like, gosh, like this person's losing their mind. And I'm like, this is a very real thing, and just go with it. It's a beautiful thing. And they'll always say, oh, I had a great conversation, or I had a wonderful visit with so and so earlier, and you just missed them, or they're sat right there, say hi to them. And it's just a beautiful thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you would go along with it. Would you say hi to the person?
Always,
Oh,
always.
I love, oh, Kevin, oh, that's so beautiful. Bravo to you for giving them that. Giving
Yeah.
that person at the end of their life that respect and that compassion. How beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. And what a testament to, we don't die. We don't die. This body dies. Good riddance at that point.
Yeah.
But our soul doesn't die.
No,
No.
no. So
And
it is a wonderful thing. And I'm so lucky to have been with so many people who have passed away. Where do you stand with reincarnation? How would you describe that?
oh, well, I've done it probably 1,000 times. So now I'm sure your audience just went, okay, she's a crackpot. That one. So absolutely, I believe it. First of all, I don't believe that we cross species. So we don't, if we're human, that we continue to come down as human. If we're animal, we continue to come in as animal, etc. It's, the earth is a learning planet. That's what we do. We're here to learn. We're here to have a full range of emotion, a full range of our faculties, our free will. That's what we come to do. So you come in a lifetime, you choose your family, you choose everything, your health, everything that's going to happen to you. It's all sort of on the table. You come into life, get your ass kicked as a kid, you get traumatized, you get hurt and bruised and whatever. Those are all that, you're being set up for those lessons. You're being set up to later in life heal those things, get clarity on them, understand them, what's going on. We're never fully healed in one lifetime. So, but think, then we leave this lifetime, we go through that life review. Okay, check, check, check. Oh, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And I didn't do that. You choose to come back to another life to experience those things, to continually evolve and grow. We're all evolving. So yeah, I believe in it, but that's the way I believe in it. It's
Sure.
not that sort of whatever that is where you come back as something. We've all had every lifetime. We've all come back as nice people, mean people, rich people, poor people, different cultures, different
And is it a
men,
choice?
women.
Is it a choice to come back?
Yes, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Mm.
No, but those of us who want to keep evolving, just okay, I'm gonna go again. I think we get excited about it. We're gonna come again, and then we get here and think, "What the hell?
Yeah, what was I thinking?
What was it?" Yes. No one in their right mind would have come back to this place. It-
I was watching some of your videos this week, and I was fascinated with clearing homes virtually.
okay,
So my question is, how do you connect with your clients' homes and with your client virtually? How does that work?
that's a word. So we always say energy is just energy. What we call open space. So this is people have different ways of doing it. So let me say that we are very we think very ethical in it. We do not remote view. We think remote viewing is very unethical. That's going to piss people off, but that's our belief. So what we do is we open space. So it's like opening like a big circle, and we call in the energy from your home, or it's like we're there, but not in the same dimension. So, and we can see what's there energetically. Like I can't tell, like I could tell you if I open space in your room, I could tell you I'm standing in a bedroom. I think it might be the master, but I couldn't tell you like where the bed is or what's on the wall, anything like that. I just know that that's where I am because
Sure.
I'm just feeling the energy that's going on. Typically when we do that, I should say if there's an earthbound spirit or whatever, they usually come right up and want to talk to us. So it's just energy. It's like just thinking, okay, I want to be in this person's home because I've learned how to do that. It just happens. You just end up in that home. You set your intention as to why you're there, what you want to do. Did that answer it? It's not an easy question to answer. It's something that's taught how to do that.
Is there one specific paranormal story that you'll never forget?
Yes. One of the ways that you learn, and no matter what you're doing, you learn by falling on your face, right? You learn by making mistakes. Fred always says, you don't learn when things are going well. That's not the time to learn. That's the time to rest. We're giving you an opportunity to rest, just receive and to be in that beautiful energy because something's coming and we're going to push you down the stairs. And we're going to put you in a situation where you don't have the answers, you don't know, and you're going to fall down. So that is very true with the paranormal. I have learned about the paranormal and what to do with these entities and so forth by just going and sometimes getting my ass kicked. And that would just mean just being totally drained and I'm out of it for a couple of days. So the first time, I would say, yeah, the first time that I came up against a witch would be a something I'll never forget. That was my first sort of foray for that word, foray. That's what wanted to come out, but I don't even know if that's the right word. Into the realm of witchcraft and so forth. So we had been called into a home this woman had, everything was going wrong in her, like her job was suffering, she was suffering, she wasn't feeling well, there were things, it was just this, she fell down the stairs, literally fell down the stairs, broke her arm. There were all, she couldn't understand what was happening. Someone said, you know, I watch these ladies on YouTube. I think you should call them. There was, so there was the mom and then the daughter, and they lived in Mexico. So they have a whole Santeria, I think is the name of the witchcraft. The daughter had broke up with her boyfriend. The boyfriend's mother was this witch of this particular witchcraft, put a spell on the family, conjured up this entity to scare them. And it did. And it run amok in their house. It pushed her down the stairs, broke her arm, scared the hell out of the dogs. If I remember correctly, one of the dogs even died. They were living in terror all the time. They would come around a corner and they'd see some big scary thing standing there or screaming at them. That was the first time I came across a witch. So I really had to lean on my teams, which I typically do, but I had to lean on them and say, I don't know what to do here. What do I do? How do they gave me, I received welcomely another guide who works specifically with witchcraft. So anytime I go into a house and there's some witchcraft, this guide shows up and clues me in that there's something going on. So we not only had to get rid of that entity that she conjured up, and what she did was, there was an earthy, she turned that earthy into this scary thing. So we were able to clear that poor earthy who was scared out of her mind, crossed her over, and then we're able to break that spell and send. With witchcraft, I've learned when there's a spell and it gets broken, that goes back to the witch. Kind of like a karma situation, like you did this, so now you're getting it back.
Sure.
It was, that's probably one of my most, I probably didn't do it justice, but that was a very memorable experience and scary. I was scared. I will admit it now. I'm no longer scared when I come across, which I get it now, but at the time I didn't, and I was very scared. I didn't know, and I had to really lean on my teams, like, what do I do next? I don't know. This is bizarre. And it was scary. Then I didn't know, is that witch going to come after me now? Is something going to happen? None of that happened.
Wow.
Yeah, so it can get pretty scary.
What advice would you give someone who's experiencing paranormal activity in their home?
Find someone to clear it. Find someone to clear it. It's not healthy. They can make you physically sick, mentally sick. Let me back up. So the ghosts need to survive. They need you to do that. So they want you, a lot of times in situations like that where it's so bad, they've got things moving around, they don't feel well, people stop leaving their homes. They sort of cut out of society. They just stop. They might go to work and back, but they don't have any friends. That entity in their home becomes their friend. That's all they think about 24/7. That's it. That isn't a way to live. You have lost your humanness. You have lost your ability to be with people, because this thing is taking all your time and your energy. So reach out to someone. Sometimes just the healing of the house will clear that all up. Sometimes there needs to be an actual energy healing afterward. Depends on the situation, but
Sure.
please reach out. It is not fun. I know the big thing, especially like with ghost hunters, is wouldn't it be fun to live in a haunted house? Well, no, it's a very slow build too. You don't even realize. It's kind of like getting older. All of a sudden you're like, whoa, what happened? What happened? I was just 30, wasn't I? it's that sort of slow build, and it builds, and people don't realize how much weaker they're getting, how many friends they've lost, how much they just don't enjoy life anymore. There are none of those times when they really enjoy life, and they're lulled into this false feeling of they have a family, and yes, you're happy because you have me, you have this going on. It's all an illusion, and it's not true. So reach out for someone who really, of course, us, I think we know what we're doing. So that's what I would tell people, is to reach out and get some real help, and not someone who's just going to come in and like banish them from the house or send the things out. First of all, they'll come back, almost guaranteed, but they can also go torture someone else, and we don't want that either. So someone who knows how to actually take care of what's there. And
Sure.
fixing the grids, that's another, I know I mentioned that before. We have, oh, do you want me to go into
Yeah.
that?
Yes,
I can
please.
start to, So the grids are, we've heard of like veils. Oh, the veils are thin this time of year. It's the space between the dimensions, and we have a lot of, like I said, all those dimensions are right here. The grids are what holds it together. It's like the glue that holds it together. The grids, for different reasons, if you have a lot of turmoil in your home, if there's a lot of anger, depression, any of the sort of the ones that live in fear, any of those lower vibrational things, mess up the grid. The grids start getting faulty, and they start dissolving, and that's what creates rifts. That's what creates tears, and ghosts can come through there. And it keeps your house at a much lower vibration, so that entity can hang out there, or that earthy can hang there, because the grids are totally messed up. So we fix all those grids too, so they can't come back. And unless you call them, everyone, that happens too. We've cleared homes, cleared the grids, everything is fabulous. They have the best night's sleep they've had in forever, but they miss having the activity, and so they start calling other things in because they want it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What is the most bizarre question you've ever been asked?
Sometimes on our paranormal channel, we will take viewer questions, and then we answer them all. And I'm trying to think, was there a one that was bizarre in there? Oh, yes, there was one. It was bizarre to me, was, as a spirit, when the higher realm, do you have sex? Is there sex? No. Sorry to disappoint everyone, but
That's
no.
the episode I watched today, actually.
Oh, was it?
It
Okay.
was.
Yeah. Nope. Sorry, everyone. No, that's a human experience thing. Yeah.
Get it while you can.
Thankfully, but no.
What do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of paranormal phenomena?
That it's not dangerous, that it's fun, that it should be entertainment. Yeah, I think that's what it is. That, and understanding what a ghost actually is and why they're there.
Have you ever stopped a stranger in public to give them a message from spirit?
Oh, yes. And I teach people not to do that now. So that's part of my ethical standards, and because I teach people how to be healers and psychics and work with paranormal as well. And that's something I tell them not to do anymore. But yes. Ah, there's some shame there. Yes, when I first started, everything was new. I did not have a great teacher at the time that taught me ethics, and yes, and it didn't go well at all. So we were in line at a coffee shop. It's when I was still getting messages in that way from healed spirits, and this woman came in, and her daughter was there, and she wanted to get her a message. And of course I thought that I'm, uh, how wonderful I am, that I have this opportunity to really help and, and be this fabulous person. And I think still at the time I wanted to be looked at as something special. I know that's gross. But I was young, and so I walked up to this woman in line, and told her who I am and what I do, and I speak to dead people, and your mother is here. She freaked out. I don't want to talk to that bitch. Why the hell would I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Here, I thought it was going to be this big, beautiful event, and I was going to say these beautiful things, and it was awful. And I left. I just ran out, like tail between my legs. I just ran out, got my car, and drove away. I had forgotten all about that experience until you just said something.
Sorry.
I think I blocked it out because it was just awful. But it was a good there was a learning experience for me. It's none of my damn business to be telling anyone anything.
Sure.
So
And you have a way of blocking that out now when you're out doing your thing and
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I try to be as present as possible, just experience life, experience the people around me without what we call opening. Yeah, I don't open in public. Mm-mm.
Do you feel anything around me? Do you pick anything up around me?
Let
It's a
me switch
selfish
to
question.
no, let me. Yes, there you have a woman with you. She's sort of short in stature, dark hair. She's not that old. She is, she's one of your patients that you had, that we were just talking about earlier, sitting with at the time that she makes me want to cry. She is just so grateful. If you allow yourself to sort of take a breath and just let her bring that emotion to you, you'll know who it is. She's really she's showing me kind of I don't know if she had a lot of arthritis or something, but she had some sort of physical ailment because she's just she's sort of crouched over. You were so loving to her and so beautiful. She considered you a son. She considered you to be that person that really connected with her at the end like no one else could. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm not sure. There's a few people in mind.
Um, and she's just so grateful. She wants you to know that that was so important to her, that your compassion and your love really helped her cross in such a beautiful way. And her passing was so beautiful because of you. So
I
beautiful.
love
And
that.
now you have sorry, but now you have a man standing behind you. He's tall, could be father. Is your father passed?
No, grandfather who's tall.
Grandfather? Okay. Okay. So proud of you. So proud of you. And again with the sorry. So he's apologizing for not did he not accept you? Not
No,
something you did, something you were doing that he wasn't supportive of?
not sure.
Okay. He's showing me you were little. You were young. And there was something you wanted to did you I have several things running through my head, and I apologize. This isn't something I do a lot anymore, so sometimes it takes me a minute. He wanted there's something about sports. He wanted you to play a sport. Is this for you? Is this
So
you or is this go ahead.
yeah, so I think I know what you're talking about. So my father's family, I'm the only grandson,
Okay.
and I'm the first person to not become a fisherman and not take over the family business.
Okay.
And I think that's
Thank you.
maybe what he's.
It's absolutely, I was so confused. I was not getting, but fishing is a sport.
It
So
is.
my family is very, my husband, my sons, I'm not, but they're very sporty. And so I think he was bringing it in that way to try to get me to understand, like it's a sport or whatever.
And he, so my one thing that sort of
he was
sits with me is like our surname finishes with me as well, because obviously I'm in a same-sex relationship and we're not having children. So um not only did I not take over the family tradition business wise, but the name stops. And he died before I even came out. So I always wondered what he would have thought.
he loves you. He absolutely adores you, and he knows that this is the life that you chose. And there's a thing when they're in spirit, they get the whole program here. They get that we're coming down here to learn lessons. And what he has a connection with your soul, not the person you are in this lifetime. And he absolutely loves you. He's sorry that there was turmoil there over not taking over. Like that pressure was not fair of him to, there was from anyone, there should be no pressure on you to do anything that you don't want to do, because this is your life, not, you're not living for your family. So yes, he's he he's sorry for that.
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
um, will you marry me? My husband.
Oh, that's really nice. If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be?
That we would stop ghost hunting.
What trait do you value most in a relationship?
Laughter.
What is the biggest regret you have in life?
Not healing sooner.
What is your greatest strength?
My compassion.
Would you rather have a pet dinosaur or a pet dragon?
Oh my gosh. Ooh. Dinosaur.
What's the silliest nickname you've ever had?
The first one that comes to mind is feet. I have big feet. I grew into my feet. When I was little, I had these huge feet. So I had friends that called me feet. I think I should put an S on his feet. Yeah.
If you could switch lives with any fictional character, who would it be?
Mm. Ooh, that one I'd have to think about. I don't know if I could come up with one that quickly.
What's your all-time favorite movie?
Boy, you sure give tough questions. Those are tough ones. I think one of the first ones, I think, Remember the Titans.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that movie. That would definitely be in my top five.
perfect. Well, thank you, Pam. I loved our
Yes, thank you.
conversation.
I did too.
It
It
was
was
great.
fun.
It was so
Thank you.
fun.
I agree.
Thank you.